I came across a gentleman at the gym of all places, and he was a throwback guy. He was the
old school.
Old school.
Yeah.
Fedora, cashmere jacket, silk underwear, that kind of guy. Very cool individual.
It's an interesting outfit for the gym.
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of conversations going on there. But anyway, he was a great guy. So he and I became close. He became a surrogate grandparent to my kids, and I started over a period of time just having a normal relationship with him, and then ultimately what happened was he started to get older. So he went from his 3-story walk-up on Del Mar to a garden apartment, to an elevated building, to another elevated building. And eventually he needed help with shopping, and he needed help with doctor's appointments and visits to the hospital and all those things. And I was there for the entire ride.
You were almost like the adult child in the relationship.
I was the adult child, and unfortunately he had a surviving adult child and some grandkids, but unfortunately they were not as attentive as he probably would have liked to them have been. So things were falling through the cracks. So, I started to fulfill that role lovingly, and I was there till his last breath, and it was an eye-opening experience. So while I was trying to reinvent myself, the light bulb went off. I'm helping this gentleman. I love working with seniors. Why don't I specialize in working with seniors? So that's really how it all started.
So the door opens for your passion here. We get an understanding of that, but it's more than just passion. So how does somebody who says that they specialize in senior real estate, how does that actually work?
Well, there's education that's involved, and there's certifications that are involved. And you start out with one that's sponsored by the National Association of Realtors. It's called an SRES, Seniors Real Estate Specialist. And you take a course online, you take a test, you pay a fee, and you're a Seniors Real Estate Specialist. So I did that, and I would go to senior networking events and organizations, and I'd stand up and say, hey, I'm Ted, I'm an SRES. And everybody was like, okay, what does that mean? And other people had done the same thing. So thinking that just having that designation was going to open up the door really didn't open up the door. So I sought additional education, and I went to an organization called the Seniors Real Estate Institute that offers a designation called a Certified Senior Housing Professional designation, and that really forces one to entrench themselves in the senior world. We needed to go and meet with elder law attorneys and financial advisors and go to all the different types of communities, meet with care managers, you name it, we had to meet with them. There was education, there was testing, there was a research paper, there was a plan. It was a pretty challenging certification that I earned.
You haven't used the word yet, but you have compassion, you have education. But this process for you is about patience. That's a rare commodity in this culture anyway, but especially in this portion of the economy.
Well, it's patience, but it comes naturally, and it shouldn't, because I'm born and bred on the East Coast. I'm a Philadelphian. I'm not supposed to know from compassion. I'm not supposed to know from patience, and I'm not supposed to know what a moral compass is. But I assume I have to thank Mom and Dad, but especially Mom, in regard to raising me right, and somehow it connected. I didn't like how certain people were treating older adults in my world, and I realized that it was pervasive, and I wanted to make that my mission. So really it is a mission, it's a purpose. The real estate, what I do to eventually help them sell their homes, if there is one to sell, that helps fund it, but it's much more than that from my perspective.
We live in a culture that treats seniors like they're old iPhones, and you counter that with the way you work with them. I wanted to ask, though, in addition to selling a home, what other services do you provide to older adults and their families?
Well, I go in with two different hats on. Oftentimes I get a call from an elder law attorney, an attorney in general, a financial advisor, a care manager that says Mr. or Mrs. Smith needs to sell their home or has passed away, then they need to sell the home, just go sell the home. So I will go ahead and do that. And I've got a variety of different approaches that I take to get that done to maximize how much we sell the house for, and we can talk about that. But then oftentimes I'm just told, let's just say I do some seminars, and I have an individual in the seminar will call me up and say, I need to do something. I don't know what to do, where to start. Can you come and help me through the process? Mm-hmm. So I take my real estate agent hat off, and I ask for permission to put my certified senior advisor hat on, which is another designation that I've earned, which allows me to ask the right questions. It allows me to dig a little deeper with permission to have conversations. And we talk about everything that goes along with the process of aging. I ask whether they have a financial advisor and an attorney. Can I get involved in that process, or they prefer that I not? If they have an attorney, if they want me involved, great. If they don't have an attorney, then I can refer them to them. And I act as a case manager of sorts that helps them through the process and helps them get through the planning portion, and the planning is so important. And a lot of times we don't realize how important the planning is until we've already gone through the process. You know, the first person who goes to the attorney and goes to the financial advisor and goes through all the processes is the child of a parent who unfortunately didn't do that, and their legacy was, for lack of a better term, a mess, and things needed to be cleaned up.
I'm sure a lot of adult children find out the water gets very deep very fast. You are a CSA, a Certified Senior Advisor, and you talked a little bit about that, but I want to know specifically, what is that?
Well, a Certified Senior Advisor is a duly accredited designation that is earned through a rigorous program. I started the program with 7 different books that needed to be read, pretty thick, and it talks about every particular topic that is senior-centric. It's finances, it's accounting, it's elder law and estate planning. It's everything that touches an older adult, because most of the people that get this designation, that earn it, are not real estate agents. There are very few of us. There's actually 3 in the state of Missouri, 2 in the St. Louis area, and I earned this designation in 2017. It's such a rigorous process that one needs to be background checked before they can get the accreditation, which is very important. So every time you renew, every 3 years when you renew through continuing education, they do a national background check. In addition to that background check, I'm also background checked through the Missouri Seniors and Family Registry. So one of the things that I could suggest to you is when you're working with somebody who is trying to help, quote unquote, you know, check their backgrounds, make sure that they do have background checks and that they're really reasonable individuals who you can trust.